Welcome back, baseball, and a happy opening day, Mariners fans. Coming up, we'll be making our predictions for the 2023 MLB season, as well as going over some over-unders for the Mariners and previewing tonight's season opener against the Guardians. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is Thursday, March 30th, 2023. This is Trident Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast. Happy opening day, everyone. Thank you so much for making us your first listen. Subscribe, like, and turn on alerts if you're watching on YouTube, or subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your preferred podcast platform if you like what you hear. And if you want to hear from us even more, please consider signing up for our Patreon by scanning the QR code right above my head. The link, as well as our social accounts, is also in the description below. On the show today, we'll be kicking things off with our predictions for the 2023 MLB season. We'll be picking our playoff teams, World Series winner, MVPs, Cy Youngs, and Rookies of the Year. We'll also be doing a bunch of over-unders for the Mariners in 2023, and then talk about tonight's game against the Guardians. Luis Castillo versus Shane Bieber. Should be a pretty fun game tonight at T-Mobile Park. But Colby, let's start with our league-wide predictions for Major League Baseball. Let's just start with our division winners and wild card teams, and you can start with whichever league you prefer.
AL for life.
Obviously, naturally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the East, I'm going to take the Yankees despite the pitching woes. I think Tampa Bay is a legitimate contender here, and Toronto, of course. But I think the Yankees just have a little too much offense, and I think they'll manage the pitching well enough. And, it's also worth noting that if the Yankees have to go out and get pitching at some point, they have plenty of firepower to go do that. So I think the Yankees probably hold off Toronto and Tampa. In the Central, I'll take Cleveland, but I think, Chicago and Minnesota are both viable picks here. I don't think any of those three teams are really, really good, but I think they're all pretty solid.
And they're not too far off from one another either.
No. I think Minnesota has kind of underperformed the last couple of years. Chicago last year, they just terrible injuries, and that's still not a very well put together roster, though. So I think I would probably say Cleveland, Minnesota, Chicago if I had to rank the three, but I think Cleveland probably repeats. They just keep throwing pitching and the player development at you.
Right.
And then in the AL West, I'm still going to take Houston, but it's going to be pretty close. So I'm still going to go with the Astros winning the American League West. As for wild card spots, I'm actually going to take Seattle to win the first wild card. Then I will take in the second spot, I'm going to take Toronto. I think Toronto is going to be pretty good again this year. And then the third spot, this is really a toss-up. I could see Tampa. I could see Minnesota. The Angels or the Rangers could sneak into this spot. It kind of depends on what the win total is for this playoff team. But I'm going to take the Rays. So I think the exact same playoff roster as last year. So yeah, it's a little boring, but I think those are the six best teams in this league. So I think that's how it's going to shake out.
So in the AL, I'm going in the AL East, rather. I'm going to go with the Blue Jays. There's still some flaws there that I think they're going to need to address over the course of the season in order to win that division. But right now, just with the way that the Yankees rotation is looking, obviously that offense is stellar. But I'm not sure if they're going to be able to survive all the injuries that they've sustained there in the rotation to start the year. We'll see how healthy they get and what else they might do to address that area. But I think the Blue Jays will be able to put enough ground in between them and the Yankees for it to matter at the end of the day. I'm going to go with the Twins in the Central, and that's partly because of something else that I'll be talking about here in just a moment when we get to our awards section. And I'm taking the Mariners to win the West. I'm going with 3 new division winners in the American League, and I pretty much explained my reasoning for the Mariners winning the West on yesterday's episode, so I won't rehash that again. I'm going to go Astros for the wild card 1, Yankees wild card 2, and then the Guardians for the wild card 3 there in the American League. So what about the National League, Colby?
So I'm going to take in the East. probably still going to take the Mets. The Phillies just have had a couple really unfortunate injuries this spring. Now it's interesting. The Mets did just place Verlander on the 15-day IL, kind of out of nowhere. My fantasy team thanks them for that. Yeah, so I'm still going to take the Mets. But I would be somewhat surprised if the Mets won 100 games. That really feels more like a 90, 95 win team. And I think the Phillies can compete. The Braves, I think, are. I'll get to the Braves in a minute, but the Braves, they're going to make the playoffs. Spoiler, but I'll still take the Mets by a game or two. In the Central, I will take. It's really, honestly, kind of a one-horse race, right? It's St. Louis, Chicago. I don't think Chicago is going to be very good this year. Cincinnati is awful. Pittsburgh is year away. And so Milwaukee, we'll see. I don't know what to think about Milwaukee.
Milwaukee has the starting pitching, but I don't know about
Do they
the rest
have
of it.
everything else?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Kind of what kind of Jesse Winker do they get? That could be a huge
if Christian Yelich becomes a thing again, then maybe. Sure. But
right.
That's a tough bet there.
Yeah. So and then in the West, I'm gonna take the Padres in the West, but I think again, I don't think that's a 100-win team. As that might surprise people, but
yeah.
I just I'm always weary of these super teams who try to build on the fly and all that, and their pitching is already pretty banged up, and that's their strength right now. And so we'll see what Soto deals with the oblique and all that stuff. But they're still a very talented team. But I think they'll win the West. But I think they're probably closer to a 95, 96 win team than a 100, 106 win team. Yeah. So those are my division picks.
So what about your wild cards in the National League?
Atlanta wild card 1. I'm going to pick the Dodgers wild card 2, and I'm going to pick the Phillies, I think, wild card 3. I almost want to go Marlins here. I think the Marlins can be sneaky good.
Yeah.
I just don't trust the lineup enough right now.
Yeah. Yeah. The pitching is
pretty solid.
Pretty good. I mean, obviously they lose Pablo Lopez, but they did that in order to get, to upgrade their lineup pretty substantially there with Luis Arraez. So we'll see how that pans out. They're a fun team though. They're one of those teams that I'm probably going to be watching on MLB TV a little bit over the course of this year. So I'm taking the Braves to win the East. And I think this is going to be a pretty big year for the Braves. We'll get into that in just a moment, but going to take the Cardinals in the Central. Totally agree with you about the Central. There just really isn't another team there that stands out to me that really can push the Cardinals. The Cardinals still have some pretty big flaws, but they obviously have 2 MVP candidates in Goldie and Arenado, and I like their roster overall. I'll take the Padres in the West as well because the Dodgers just haven't really done much. Or they didn't really do much this offseason. They lose Trey Turner, they lose Gavin Lux to an injury. They added Miguel Rojas and JD Martinez. The rotation is still going to be really good with Urias and Gonsolin, Kershaw, etc. But
no Bueller.
Yeah, but no Bueller. So the Dodgers always find a way at the end. But I'm going to go with the Padres here. I think they're a better squad. Wild cards. I'm going to go Mets wild card 1. Even despite all the injuries that they've suffered here over the last month, I'll go Phillies wild card 2, and then I'll go Dodgers wild card 3. The National League. So let's do our World Series teams and World Series winner. Who you got?
I have the Atlanta Braves defeating the Seattle Mariners in the World Series.
Do you seriously? Because that's mine too.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey.
Okay, I'll do that way.
Oh yeah.
Well, whatever.
Yeah,
I have the Braves beating the Mariners. I don't know. 6 games, 7 games, one of those two. I don't know.
Yeah, it
doesn't really matter. The Braves are just a more complete team, though. The top to bottom.
Great rotation, great lineup. It's
really good.
Even with the loss of Dansby Swanson, that's a fantastic lineup. Yeah.
And like you said, the Braves still have questions. What happens at shortstop? How do they weather that storm? Max
Vaughn
Fried
Grissom didn't make the team. That's interesting. Yeah.
Max Fried got lifted from today's game. It's just a hamstring thing, so at least it's not his arm. But we'll see. I'm not wild about Atlanta's bullpen. I think it's pretty good. but I don't think it's, unstoppable or unbeatable or anything like that.
Mhm.
And then we'll see what kind of year we get from Acuna. But I just look at that team from top to bottom. I think it's the best team in baseball. I think the Mets are going to win that division,
Mhm.
but it's going to be by like a game. And then honestly, I think the Braves are just much more suited to win in the playoffs than the Mets, because for me, after you get by Scherzer and Verlander, the Mets rotation. I mean, we'll see what Senga looks like,
Yeah.
but I'm
I
not
should
that
also
afraid of the
I
Mets
sh-
rotation.
Yeah, agreed. I should also mention here on the AL side of things, I have the Mariners being one of the top 2 seeds, so they are not playing in the wild card series. I would say the Twins would be the third seed and play in the wild card series in that scenario. All right, let's get into these awards. Let's start with Rookie of the Year. I'm gonna go Anthony Volpe in the AL for the Yankees, and I'm gonna go Kodai Senga in the National League. No, I'm not. I'm not picking Corbin Carroll. After all, I'm gonna go Kodai Senga and Anthony Volpe. What do you think?
In the American League, I'm gonna go Gunnar Henderson, I guess. I'm gonna go Gunnar Henderson in the American League. National League, I'll go with. Uh, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go Senga. I really don't want to, but it's a much more crowded AL field than it is an NL field. So, yeah, I'm gonna go Gunnar Henderson and Kodai Senga. Also gave
Yeah,
some thought to Yoshida in the
I did
American
too.
League.
I actually, when I was writing out my awards here, I had Yoshida in there initially, but then I was like, Volpe is a Yankee.
Yeah, that seems to matter.
that 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 does matter whether we like it or not. So yeah, and I have them making the playoffs, whereas the Red Sox aren't. So I
Yeah.
just feel like there's going to be more attention on Volpe if he has a good year, and I think he will have a good year. I think he already had a pretty decent start today, right? I think he got on base in his first at bat, stole the base, all that. So, all right, Cy Youngs. This is going to come as no surprise. We've been talking about this for a while in the American League. I'm taking George Kirby to win the American League Cy Young. No, I do not care that he's going to be the number 5 to start the season in the Mariners rotation. That does not matter at all to me. I think Kirby is going to be incredibly efficient. I think we're going to see a season out of him that we don't typically see out of starting pitchers. And we're going to see him cement himself as one of the very few true aces in Major League Baseball. And then in the National League, I'm going to go with a guy from the team that I have playing against the Mariners in the World Series. I'm going with Spencer Strider after his breakout season last year.
Okay. So in the American League, I'm tempted to say Robbie Ray. I'm tempted to throw
I mean,
down.
that was one of your bold predictions.
It
So, I mean,
was. It
are you going to
was.
betray your bold prediction here?
No, because a bold prediction is supposed to be bold. This is what a normal prediction.
Sure.
So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and I did throw down some money on George Kirby to win the Cy Young because that was tremendous value. But when I kind of look around at the American League, there's a lot of good options. You could always go something very simple like Shohei or Garrett Cole, somebody like that.
Mm.
And I think those are both, really good picks. I don't think that there's really a third guy that's clearly established himself. I don't think Dylan Cease is that guy.
No.
I really don't. Um,
Walks too
so
many guys for
yeah,
my taste. Yeah.
I'm gonna go the really boring route in the American League. I'm going to pick Garrett Cole.
Okay. Well, you had a
But
great start today. So
yeah, he did. But I'm gonna
yeah.
go Garrett Cole. And in the National League, typically I like to take like a dark horse in one of
Hmm.
these.
Yeah.
Last year it was Sandy Alcantara, and that
There you
worked
go.
out. You picked Shane McClanahan in the American League, and that probably would have worked
And
out.
I picked Alcantara in the
Yeah,
National League as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
So in the National League this year, though, I am going to take kind of a dark horse. Not really. Like
Hmm.
it's not Scherzer, it's not Verlander. I'm going to
Right.
take Zach Gallen of the
Ooh,
Diamondbacks to win
wow.
the Cy
Okay.
Young Award. So
All
I'm going
right.
to go Zach Gallen.
I like that. That's a cool pick. I have a couple of cool picks here for MVP. One of them. All right. So I talked about the Twins, right?
Careful. Uh-oh.
I'm going to say that Byron Buxton is going to do something that he's never done before and stay healthy for a full season.
Okay.
And the ceiling is incredibly high if he can stay healthy. And I'm going Byron Buxton to win AL MVP this year. And then National League, you can shake your head all you want. I love Byron Buxton. If he can stay healthy, I think he's more than capable of doing this still. Trey Turner is my pick in the National League. We just saw him go on one of the best WBC runs we've seen since, and obviously the tournament is not that very old, but what an incredible run he went on for Team USA. And I think, going to a new team, he's back with his best friend, Bryce Harper. Vibes are good. He's one of the most talented players in all of baseball. He's going to steal a ton of bases. He's going to hit a ton of home runs. He's going to put up high numbers in every single category you could possibly want. And I think he's finally going to win himself an MVP this year.
Okay. American League, I'm going to go Tani as a parting gift to the Angels before he, of course, signs with the Mariners in the winter. He will win one last MVP for the Angels as the Angels go 80 and 82. In the National League,
the Jeff Fisher Rams of baseball.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. In the National League, again, quite a few choices here. I'm going Chris Bryant now.
Oh my God.
I'm going way out of left field, literally. But no, in the National League, I'm actually going to take Paul Goldschmidt to win the National League MVP this year.
Did he win it this past year? Who won the National League MVP? I think it was Goldie. So
was it?
Yeah,
back to back?
Okay. Yeah, I think he won. Yeah, I think he won this past year.
Well,
so back
I'm
to
not
back.
a fan of that pick anymore. They just typically don't like to give the award back to back, the writers. So
I mean, but Goldie's so good, man.
He's so good.
He's so good. He's so
Gold
good.
Glove defense, can run the bases, hits for power. Does it all, man.
All right, so we've run way over time here for the first segment. My fault, but apologies to Jeff Carr, our MLB overlord here at Locked On. We'll get back on time tomorrow. Don't worry. But let's do some over-unders for the Mariners and talk about tonight's game against Shane Bieber and the Cleveland Guardians. But first, a reminder, this episode of Locked On Mariners is brought to you by FanDuel. The tournament is heating up, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scores and threes drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss your chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn. That's FanDuel.com/LOCKEDON to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Thank you again for making us your first listen here on opening day. Before we get into our over-unders for the Mariners and talk about their season opener with the Cleveland Guardians tonight, let's talk a little bit about this fundraiser that we got going on, Colby. We got some more donations that have come in, and you are going to announce another incentive for our listeners here that I'm not super excited about, but I'm going with it, considering how amazing the response has been over the last few days.
Sure. So first of all, if you guys don't know, and I'm assuming you all do by now, Ty and I have partnered with Feeding America. 34 million people in this country suffer from food insecurity. 9 million of them are children. It's entirely way too high. Feeding America provides healthy, nutritious meals to those who need them. And they do it at an amazing cost. For every dollar that we raise, Feeding America can turn that into 10 meals for people who need them. So it really is an incredible value, from that aspect. So we're raising money. There are a couple ways that you can help us raise the money. One, there is a direct link that is on the screen right now that'll take you to our fundraising page. You can just donate right there. Any amount helps. We've had a couple $100 donos, but we've also had, a couple $1, $2, $3, and all of that comes together. All of that really does help Feeding America. So, don't think that you have to donate $50, right?
Mm-hmm.
A dollar helps.
A dollar is 10 meals.
Yes. So you can do that by just scanning the QR code right there. There'll also be a link in the YouTube video and also in the podcast description if you're just listening. So you can do that. Also, if you can't afford to donate, I totally get it. It's fine. But you can get involved by subscribing to our YouTube channel, Locked On Mariners. Ty and I are donating 10 cents for every new subscriber we get between now and May 1st. I think we're up right around 100 new subs in the last 2 or
Yep.
3 days. So that right there is $10. That's 100 meals just from clicking a button. So that's what we're doing. Our original goal was $500. We weren't quite sure where to land that goal, and then you guys just blew it out of the water. We're just under 1,900 right now already,
Mm-hmm.
and we still have a month to go. Yeah, apparently, we underestimated you guys. So I think it's time that we kind of start to ramp up things here. So one thing I'll do is
Real quick, guys. Let's get to 2K before first pitch tonight. Let's make that our goal for tonight. Now, Colby,
all right.
you've got some incentives here to announce.
Sure.
I'm nervous.
Obviously, guys, on top of this, we're doing just a random giveaway here. At the same time, we're giving away my Cal Raleigh autograph card. If you want it, all you have to do is subscribe. So not only if you have to subscribe and you have to leave a comment on any video over the next month. It doesn't matter which one. We'll randomly select a video and then randomly select a comment from that video and send that card to you. It's so if you haven't subscribed yet, just think about it this way. You subscribe, not only do you give somebody a meal who needs it, you have a shot to win a Cal Raleigh card. Now, as we continue to build up here, I don't know what the final number is going to be, but I think for every $1,000, maybe $500, I should probably do another card giveaway. So, Ty, real fast, if we get to 2K before tonight's game, 1 or 2, Ty, 1 or 2.
Two.
Okay, it's this beautiful Mike Cameron autograph card. So yeah, let's get to 2K, and then if we get closer to 3K, I'll announce another giveaway at that point. And to enter the giveaway will still be the same. Just subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment. I don't want to make donations, pick from the donation list because so many people have donated anonymously, and it wouldn't be fair to now kind of retroactively be like, okay, well now we're tying that. So.
And we also don't want you to think that like if you donate more, you have higher odds and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of what I'm doing on my end. Ty is being a little more selfish, but also a little more giving because he's not giving something away at every plateau number, but he is going to give you guys a gift.
I do have all these like vintage Mariners cards.
Yeah, but nobody wants those. No. Quiet down, Ty. You've already agreed to this. We're announcing it.
Yeah.
If we reach $10,000 in the next month, which is a tall task, we know. And that's the only reason Ty would ever agree to this. If we do that, Trident Gonzalez is going to get a tattoo. So if we get to 10K.
Now we're not leaving this up to you, sickos. No, we're not doing that. It's going to be a tattoo of my choice. And right now I'm leaning towards getting the word chills tattooed somewhere on my body. So
yes, but yeah, you have to get 10K. So we get to 10K. Ty, I'm sure Ty will make it a YouTube video as well, and he'll throw it up there on the process and all that stuff. He's gotten the okay from the missus. He had to talk to her, but he's there now.
I had to make sure I wouldn't get a divorce.
Right. So if you guys want, Ty to get chills tatted on his knuckles or something, it won't be, but if you guys want to see him get chills tatted, just smash that subscribe button, leave a comment, share this with whoever you can think of, and donate via the QR code right there. And we'll see how far we can get. Even though we fall short of 10K, it's already been incredible. And
it's been amazing.
It's been awesome. Every time I get the little notification that somebody's donated, I get excited.
Yeah. And I've been telling everyone, I've been like, proud of this. This has been so cool.
Yeah. So thank you guys. I mean, maybe we peter out and we tap everybody out and we only get 2,500. That's still 5 times more than we thought we could. So yeah, if you can, please help out. If you can't, or you already have, thank you so much.
And again, a subscription is just as good as a donation. So if you don't have the means, just let someone know to subscribe to our channel. And that's 10 cents right there. That's a meal for someone that's in need.
Yes. Now back to baseball, because that was 7 minutes.
Back to baseball, indeed. So So again, we'll be talking about this a little bit over the next few episodes. You can skip over that if you've already donated or if you've already heard enough about it, and get back to our baseball talk. So let's do some over unders here, Colby, for the Mariners. I wanted to do some sort of Mariners prediction on today's show. I wasn't really sure what to do, so I think over unders are good. So I put together a lot of them. So we're going to quickly go go through these. Now, we don't have over-unders for everyone, right? There's no Teoscar Hernandez over-under. There's no Colton Wong over-under. There's no Luis Castillo. I didn't do any of the bullpen guys either. But I think I have some pretty fun ones in here. So let's start with everyone's favorite, Julio. Let's go 29 and a half home runs for Julio Rodriguez in 2023. Over. Yeah, I'm going over as well. I think he can legitimately be a 40 home run guy this year.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, this one's a little more interesting. 24 and a half stolen bases. Obviously, he didn't steal a lot or try to steal a lot in the second half of the season. Of course, some of that was because of injuries, and obviously the team didn't want him to risk injury doing that. So what do you think? Bigger bases this year. He's more incentivized to steal, but he's also the face of the franchise. You don't want him getting hurt. So what do you think?
Under.
Ooh, okay. I'm going over. I think Julio's going to have
30,
a 40.
30.
I think he's going to be 40-30 this year.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if the team's going to want him to run that much. So
yeah.
I think he'll still be around like 18 to 23-ish in that range. But, if it was 25 or more, I'd be a little bit surprised.
Cal Raleigh hit 27 home runs last year. So let's just go 27 and a half home runs on Big Dumper. Yeah, I'll go over as well. I think he gets to the 30 mark.
These are all assuming health, obviously.
Obviously, yes.
Yes.
Eugenio Suarez, 32 and a half home runs.
Under.
I'm going to go over. I think he hits 35.
Ty's just all aboard the hype train.
I think this team is going to hit a lot of dingers.
Okay. I
think Teoscar hits like 30 this year too.
All right. I think Gino's probably going to settle in at around 28 to 30.
Okay. I mean, that's still a lot.
But it's not 33.
So here's an interesting one. I think you're going to take the over on this because of your bold prediction yesterday. 1.5 wins above replacement for Jared Kelenic. Doesn't matter if it's Baseball Reference or Fangraphs. Yeah, I'm going to go over as well. I'm going to go over. You know what? I believe. I still need to see it. Like I said, I still need to see it in actual games, but I believe.
Yeah, if Kelenic is just a league average slash line with his defense and his power, that's 2 wins easy all day. So,
yeah, I think the defense is going to carry him quite a bit on that front for sure. All right. Here's an interesting one. 23 and a half hit by pitches for Ty France.
Over.
So
what was it last year? 27?
21. He had 27 in 2021.
Oh, okay.
So, but again, he was hurt a couple times last year, so he missed some time.
Unfortunately.
I'm going to go over as well. Yeah.
Get out of the way, Ty. Get out of the way.
Please just don't get hurt this year, man. Please. Yeah.
Really need you.
Yeah. I appreciate the cajones that you show and being that close to the plate, but yeah.
Ty France, by the way, hitting third today.
There you go. Is it the lineup that we pretty much projected?
Yep. Listella, the DH.
Oh, Listella's the DH. It's not Pollock. Oh, okay.
Rodriguez, Wong, France, Hernandez, Raleigh, Suarez, Kelenic, Listella, Crawford.
Interesting.
So JP in the opening day lineup. Listella gets the nod at DH.
So we got 220 and a half strikeouts for Robbie Ray. Yeah. He had 212 this past year. I think he had 275 in his Cy Young year. So I'm going to go over as well. Yeah, I'm going to go over as well. All right, here's an interesting one. This question is essentially, will Logan Gilbert finally average a K per 9?
Yes. All
right, cool. Yeah, 8.99 Ks per 9 is the over under here. I'm going to take the over as well. I think old Gilby finally gets a hold of his secondaries. I know you love that name.
So bad.
175 walks per 9 for George Kirby.
Man,
he was at 152 this past year.
But that's under, but barely.
Yeah,
the only thing about this is it could be under. It could be like over by like.
Could be 176. Yeah.
Yeah, or it could even be like 242 or something like that, and that's still really good.
Yeah,
and people will be like, "What's wrong with George Kirby?"
That's right.
Nothing.
Yeah,
he's human.
I'm gonna go slightly under. I don't think he's a 152 guy, but I think we see him in the 16 area.
Okay.
All right. Here's a couple of prospect ones. Bryce Miller, 99 and a half innings pitched.
At the big leagues?
At the big league level, yeah. Should have made that clear. Under. Interesting. I'm going to go I think he's going to come up in May, so I'm going to go over.
Good.
Kirby threw what, 130 last year?
Yep.
I'll say Miller lands at about 115.
Okay. I mean,
110 to
Kirby came
115.
up. Kirby only threw out like a handful of innings in the minors, right?
Yeah. And I think Miller ends up probably doing that as well
I
because
think he's probably going to throw closer to 40, 50 in the minors, but we'll see.
we'll see. All right, here's the really interesting one. I think you're going to say under to this. 39 and a half innings pitched at the major league level for
Under.
Emerson Hancock.
Can't pitch for the Mariners if you're traded, baby.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And who are they going to trade him for? Probably some platoon bat. That's all he's worth.
So this is obviously going to be an over considering, what we think the Mariners are going to do this year, but I'm going to ask anyway. 89 and a half wins for the Seattle Mariners. Yeah. Over.
By the way, there are some sports books in Vegas that are dumb enough to give you 86 and a half.
Yeah.
Take it.
Take it.
Take it and laugh.
And take it and run. Yeah. 3.5 All-Stars for the Mariners. I said 6 yesterday in my bold prediction. Yeah. So, and I stand by that.
Okay.
And you know what? I do need to address something. I forgot about Cal Raleigh when I was doing that.
I thought you said Cal.
No, I said Ty France. I was putting it together quick and I kind of spaced and I forgot Cal. I think Cal is going to be an all-star. So maybe it's 7.
Because the game is at T-Mobile and because Mariner fans are super hype, I think that they stuff the ballot boxes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we know for a fact Julio could miss all but 10 games and he's still going to get voted into the All-Star game. Yeah. He's that popular of a player. So we know one for sure is Julio. I feel like Castillo, if he's even close to what he was last year, he's definitely number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go over. I don't know who 3 and 4 are. I think it should be Cal, but we'll see what kind of year he has.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, probably Munoz out of the bullpen.
Yep.
Or maybe it's Teo, or maybe it's Robbie Ray, it's Kirby. It's like it could be anybody in the rotation,
right?
Except for Marco.
Yeah. So yeah.
I'll say over.
Yeah, that's Marco's a big reason that I I picked the over on Bryce Miller.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right.
Hope to be wrong.
Yeah, taking the over on All-Stars as well, like I said. All right, last couple here. Jerry DiPoto and Justin Hollander, 4.5 major league trades. Major league trades,
just like any trade.
Guys that are going to be either on the 40-man or the 26-man.
Let me ask, is there a follow-up to this?
No, there is no follow-up to this.
Okay. So it's not but only 1.5 on 26-man guys?
No. This is just these guys are major leaguers. These are not
somebody on somebody's 40-man gets traded.
Yeah, to the Mariners. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, to the Mariners.
Or from, you know what? Yeah. Like if they were somehow able to trade Chris Flexen or Marco or whatever, sure, I'll count that.
This is tough because I think the number's 3 or 4. So,
this was a good number,
under,
right?
Yeah, probably under. I think it's going to be 3 or 4. So,
all right, I'll take the slide under as well.
It's just hard because Jerry loves to make these Gio Rocco or whatever for Tom Murphy, and you're like, oh, that's not even a worthwhile trade to discuss. And then Tom Murphy's like, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He loves to make those little depth trades that don't seem like anything, and then you're like, oh, actually, they were.
Yeah. Last one here. Colby Patnode, 161 and a half times upsetting the Mariners fan base.
Hammer the over.
Hammer the over. It's going to be at least twice a game. So, yeah.
I think the better over-under is how many times I upset them for no reason, when they have no reason to be upset. For example, that was a rough at-bat from Colton Wong.
You hate Colton Wong.
You hate Colton Wong.
You want to DFA Colton Wong.
Season's over.
You just want to give at-bats to Mason McCoy over Colton Wong.
Yep. Totally what I said.
All right. So those were our over-unders. Play along with us down below. I probably should have said that before we did our over-unders, but let us know what your answers are for the over-unders. Let us know what your predictions for Major League Baseball as a whole are as well. If you're willing to take the time in the comments, we'd love to see those. All right. So lastly, before we wrap up here, Mariners Guardians. We're going to just quickly talk about this because we're only a few hours away from first pitch. So this is going to be a pretty irrelevant conversation for probably quite a few of you if you're tuning in after the game. But we got Shane Bieber versus Luis Castillo. Guardians versus Mariners. This was a season series the Mariners dominated last year. First, do you think the Mariners are going to win tonight? I think that's just the first question that we need to answer here.
It's opening day, baby.
Absolutely.
Of course, the only team that wins more than the Mariners on opening day, believe it or not, the New York Mets.
Wow.
So, yeah, go figure.
Is
Two
that-
teams that
is
are kind
that
of known
good?
for disappointing their fan base.
Yeah, I was like, is
win
that good
more
company
than
to be
anybody
in?
else on opening day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the Mariners win. I think it'll be a low-scoring game because it's going to be cold tonight. Going to be a little breezy. It's going to be tough to string hits together off of both of these guys, but and both teams happen to have really good bullpens. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but yeah, I think the Mariners pull off probably a one-run victory.
I'm going to go 3-1 Mariners.
Okay.
And
I was thinking 4-3.
Teoscar Hernandez has hit a home run in 2 consecutive opening days. The record is 3 by Tyler O'Neill, funny enough. We'll see if that continues today. Is O'Neill healthy and playing?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll see if that continues against the Blue Jays today for him. But I think Teoscar gets his 3rd in a row today in his first game as a Seattle Mariner. And and I think Luis Castillo is going to shove tonight. I know his spring was a little iffy, but whatever. Like I don't care about that. I think Castillo is going to shove tonight. Really interested to see how he attacks this lineup, though. This was a lineup that did make him work last year. And
Tyler O'Neill.
Hey, there you go, Tyler O'Neill. Maybe that's another card we could give
Future
away.
Mariner, Tyler O'Neill.
You could give away, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a lefty heavy lineup. Andres Gimenez, Josh Bell is going to be hitting from the left side. Yeah, Jose Ramirez is going to be hitting from the left side. Naylor's a sneaky player. Like he can hurt you in a big way if you mess around.
I saw him break the glass of the Hit It Here Cafe and batting practice.
That's right.
Last
I remember
year,
that.
so
Yeah,
shattered it. So
yeah. He's a strong dude. Isn't his brother on that team now? Yeah, Bo.
Josh and Bo.
Yeah, Josh and Bo. There you go. And Mike Z. We're gonna see Mike Z. So, see in the lineup.
It's nice to know where the easy outs are in the lineup.
Mike Z and Miles Straw. Yeah,
sliders away, baby. Sliders away.
Hey, Mike Zunino.
Don't leave it hanging. Okay?
He's good.
Nah. Don't leave that slider hanging because he'll hit it into Edgar's. But if you don't, you're probably in good shape.
Yeah, you should
I have not seen Cleveland's lineup yet. No.
Okay. So yeah, we'll see what that lineup looks like. But this is a pretty talented team. So you got to be on your A game in order to beat these guys. But should be a fun game tonight. Fun pitching duel.
You play them 7 times in the next 10 days,
dude. Yeah, that's ridiculous. What is going on there?
I don't even think I pushed the button that time.
It's opening day for everyone. Oh, that was the best one.
There's no dump option either. So once it starts playing,
you were just like, nope, this show's over. I'm out.
Yeah. Well, once it starts playing, there's no ending it. So you just have to sit there and
you just got to sit through it.
Let it roll through. So
well, there you go. Now you guys know where to subscribe and like and all that stuff. You also know where you can find it on
nobody's
podcast
listening
platforms.
At this point, anyways.
Yeah, that's true. So so we both predict the Mariners win. Let us know down below if you also think the Mariners are going to win. Do you agree with the Oscar call? I think that's a pretty good one because that dude loves to play on opening day. All right, so that's going to do it for our show today. Tomorrow's episode will be recapping tonight's game, and we'll be looking at the rest of this series with the Guardians. I've got a 4-game series with these guys. It's going to be going to see these guys a lot, like Colby mentioned. So get used to them. All right, so like I said, that's going to do it for our show. Thank you again for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby Patnode, I'm Trident Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Dane Gonzalez, that's TANEGNZLZ, and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok as well at Locked On Mariners. That's one word, Locked On Mariners. You can also find all that stuff in the description of this episode. And thank you again for making us your first listen. Now, for your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Win your league by listening to Matt and Dom every day as they bring you the best fantasy draft strategies. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts, just like us. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And with that, have yourself a beautiful opening day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.